Good morning, Mustang family. We are here for our virtual career day 2021. Who would have imagined that we would be having career day via 17 million virtual platforms, little small boxes and all kind of other stuff. But if we haven't learned anything else in a pandemic, we have learned innovation, we've learned creativity, and we've learned how to for real make lemonade out of lemons. And so if we don't have any other lessons in life, just because we hit a challenge or hit a stumbling block doesn't mean that we don't keep going. We just find other ways to make it happen. And not only do we make it happen, we get better in the process. And so a year ago, you would have never told me that I could pull a career day off on a computer. I would have told you that you were crazy and you sound foolish. But here we are in 2021. Let me give a special thank you to an amazing assistant principal, Mr. Vise. My assistant principals hold me up, and they are probably the one group of people who know how crazy I really am behind the scenes, but they make me look good anyway. And so thank you, Mr. Vise, for making this possible for our students today. And then we have the alderman with us this morning. We have Alderman Matt O'Shea, who's not only the alderman at Morgan Park High School, he is my alderman. And would like to publicly thank him for just everything that he does just to make the Beverly Morgan Park community so great. And so I'm going to turn it over to Alderman O'Shea to give us a few words, and then we will go from there.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for taking part in our annual career day. As Dr. Skanes mentioned, it's been a tough year on everybody, but I am so proud of the students here at Morgan Park High School making do through a difficult situation. We felt it was important to host our career day, and I'm really excited of our visitors today. A father-daughter combination, Mike and Morgan Martin, true business leaders here in our community, people who are active and giving back, and I'm so happy that they are our neighbors and strong business leaders here in our community. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy career day and keep working hard out there.
All right, with that being said, I'm excited for today. So for all of our young people, I see that we have students that are logging on. Share this link so that people can see. Honestly, this is what Morgan Park High School looks like. We are the epitome of excellence and amazing. Look at these little faces. And so they are getting ready to be our amazing student leaders in this conversation today. So you all are tired of hearing me yap. Today is probably one of the three best days of the year. There's the first day of school. There's the day before spring break, and then there's the last day of school. We are so thankful that we are on day number 2, the last day before spring break. I want you all to enjoy spring break, have a lot of fun. Back in the day, my mother still calls spring break cleanup week, because back in the day, it actually used to be where you took time. So clean up something for your family, clean out the refrigerator, clean the yard, and then enjoy the rest of the days. If you all need us, send us an email, and I am turning it over to our amazing Mustang, Jalen.
Thank you, Dr. Skanes. So first off, Mr. Martin, I just wanted to thank you for coming today here in our Morgan Park live stream. I want to introduce myself. My name is Jalen Hefner, and I'm excited to interview today, especially since I'm a football player here as well.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk to our young people, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go off for the first question. Although I got to read your bio, I want to know, like, what are like the background? What is your story? What is from your perspective? What is your story?
Look, I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but no, I grew up in the projects of Washington D.C. and my goal was to be successful. I didn't know what end. I didn't care at the point. I just knew I wanted to be successful because I wanted to give my family an opportunity to live the kind of life that I knew we were capable of living. And I wound up getting a scholarship to University of Illinois, played football there, wound up getting drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, played for the Cincinnati Bengals for 7 years. But I knew that playing football didn't define me. So I says, what else is out there for me? So I actually got, I'm big into parties, man. I used to throw parties all the time. I created a promotions company called First Class Entertainment, and we started doing parties. And I mean, the parties got so big to where, we were averaging, we'd be like doing this event called Final Friday, which was once a month. And we were getting 2,500 people once a month to these parties. I was having them at hotels. And so I said, you know what? I'm making all these hotels all this money. It's time for me to actually branch out. So then I opened up some nightclubs. Opened up, like, I actually had about 4 or 5 nightclubs. And from the nightclubs, I'll never forget this. I had a principal from a high school in Cincinnati that came and said, I'm here for one purpose. I'm here to have you coach my kids. And I'm like, wow. And I said, okay. I said, let me go check it out. Went over there, found out that they canceled football that year. I went over there to check them out because they couldn't get enough kids on the field. And so um, while I was there, a mass fight broke out in the hallway. And I'm like, what in the world am I getting into? But I found out that was right up my alley. When I saw these kids, I saw these big kids in this building and they had all this energy. I said, okay, I'm going to take all that energy and put it on the football field. And we took a team that, a school that couldn't field a team, to making them one of the powerhouses in the state of Illinois. And look, and I didn't want to skip over the fact that I played professional football for the Cincinnati Bengals for 7 years, and we went to the Super Bowl. I didn't get a chance to play. I got injured, and but that was something that was very rewarding for me. Getting an opportunity to be a professional football player. So now, moving forward, I'm working for my daughter. She is the head of our business, which is called Live and Believe Nutrition, Live and Believe Fitness, and Live and Believe Wellness, whatever you want, however you want to call it. She runs it, and my wife and I, we actually we love the fact that we get an opportunity to work with her and help build a brand that we feel is going to be something nationwide. And we actually got to Chicago. My wife is from Chicago. My wife went to Whitney Young High School. But we got to Chicago because we lost our 25-year-old son, her brother. And that pulled us all together. I know she's going to tell a story. She was out in California, and we told her, we need to hug you. We need to be with you. You need to be here with us. And so she came, and we convinced her that she cannot leave. And so now we're sitting on a couple of smoothie places, a fitness gym, a few other places that we have right now. And we are so excited to have the opportunity to present the things that we want to show, not only Chicago, but really all around the country, the healthy things that we can provide for you. So as long as I'm working for my daughter, I always have a job.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm gonna have to hit up one of your smoothie places one time.
Yeah, man, you gotta come check us out.
I got you. Just let me know. The second question is, like, many students here want to start a business, especially, during this quarantine and everything. There's a lot of things that we got to make money. What do you want to tell these people, like, how to prepare to make a business? What's the process?
Well, one of the things is that, when you figure out what it is that you want to do, you got to be persistent. You have to really go after it. And you're going to have a lot of stumbling blocks in the process. But you can't let those stumbling blocks turn into, okay, I'm just quitting. because you start quitting, you're gonna start doing that all your life. And so my biggest thing is making sure that you figure out what it is that you want to do, find the people that can help you reach what you're trying to achieve. Because there's so many people, and that's one thing I don't think our young people really understand. There are so many people out there that's willing to help. Got to go ask. If there's something you don't know, if there's something you're trying to achieve, find somebody to help you and ask them, hey, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you have any guidance that I can use to get there? And I think once they do that, they realize that, you know what? Yeah, I am on the right track. I am going to go after, my goals. And I am going to find, people that's going to help me. And I think, that would be something that would really, really point them in the right direction.
Thank you. I thought that was great advice. Honestly, you make me want to start a business now.
Good.
Lastly, honestly, life is long. Every moment counts, and every second counts. Life is great. I thank God every morning for waking me up, and I want to know what's the most memorable time of your life.
Oh, wow. I've had so many, but I've actually, I can say three. Three it's I can't. It's hard to pick one, but I have to say three. The first one, was marrying Morgan's mom. That was something that I always wanted to find the right person that I can share and spend the rest of my life with, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. The second and third was being a dad. I consider that the biggest accomplishment of my life, being a dad, because I grew up without a father in the home. So I knew how important it is to have a male role model guiding me through life. And I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to make sure that my kids were happy. And, that has been a part of my life, from day one. And so, being a husband, being a father, that outweighs all the businesses, all the football acknowledgments, anything that goes on with that. Being a husband and a dad, those are the most important things to my life.
And thank you. That was great. I just want to thank you again for joining us today. And I want people to take that advice and actually go out there and do something about it because it's really hard out here. And I know for a fact, as a young guy, having to be an adult early, I know what it means to be out there. And you gave me great advice, and I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, please do. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to dream.
No, I won't.
Seriously, don't be afraid to dream. A lot of people think that, yeah, I got this big dream, but it's never going to happen. This world was created on dreams. They people that are doing things right now, it was because they, they were able to dream about it. So don't be afraid to dream.
No, I'm not. I love the dream. I go out there and do. I'm adventurous. I like to be out there. See
You have to
everything.
be. Yeah, you have to be.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm done.
Who's next on deck?
I am. Good morning. My name is Destiny Holman. I am a senior at Morgan Park High School, and I would like to thank Morgan for joining us today.
Thank you so much. So excited to be on here with you all.
Okay, I have a few questions. Okay, so we have all had a chance to read your biography, and I would like to ask you, can you summarize for us your background and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it short so that way you guys can ask a lot of questions too. But I'm actually originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, hence the Bengals player. I am obviously a product of him, therefore grew up in Cincinnati. And for me, one of the things that was really great, not only through high school and college, and just so grateful for the opportunities that not only that I got to have in high school, but with that my parents helped create as well, was really being able to really go for and try many things so that I could find the lane that I really wanted to grow in. Oftentimes you have this idea of who and what you want to be when you're an adult or when you have a job and when you get older. But when you get so fixated on one thing and you don't get the opportunity to allow yourself to try many things, sometimes you kind of close off what and who you really could become. And so for me growing up, I went to the University of Illinois as well. I was a varsity cheerleader there. I actually majored in broadcast journalism because I had this dream of being a sports broadcaster. However, as you start to navigate and find different things, I call them, there's pinpoints in your life where you start doing things in life and you're like, oh, I really like that. Oh, this makes me feel a certain way. Man, I love what this is. And I was always aware of that, even though I had goals in front of me. So when I graduated college, I actually moved out to California. To be honest, with an idea of what I wanted to do, but still on that search of looking for different things, right? I did hosting for those of you guys that may know Maria Menouno. She hosts on ETV. I worked with her for AfterBuzz TV. I did some acting and some dancing things. I used to work for Radio Disney. And then I also found myself always in this realm of health and fitness and transformation. And while I was out there, one of my mentors, his name is Richard Lawson, he's actually married to Tina Knowles. We created this fitness craze called Dance Fit Walk, where basically how it started was we actually just needed a fun way to work out. Anybody on here like, I know I need to work out. It's not really the most exciting thing for me. And I knew that I wanted to be able to have that. So we created this craze called Dance Fit Walk, where we literally would take a cart of music and we would dance walk 3 to 4 miles around the Rose Bowl in California. And it started off, it was just 5 of us. And the next thing you know, more people started joining in. And more people started joining in. And I remember the first time that we did it, I remember being done with it. And I sat in my car and I just was so elated. Like I cried happy tears because I was like, I've never felt like this in anything that I've done before. People were changing, people were transforming, people were following us, people were better because of what we were doing. And I remember at the time, I actually was working in corporate America. I was working for Samsung, making great money as a young, female on my own out in California. But I didn't feel the way that I felt when I was doing something that was what I truly now know is my calling. And I remember continuing on that path and just really saying there's something to this. And fast forward now, 4 or 5 years later, I never forgot that feeling. And I made a commitment to myself, especially, my dad talked about it earlier. I lost my brother unexpectedly. He passed away at the age of 25 due to a pulmonary embolism. And when that happened, I tell people it was the best and the worst thing that could have happened to me. The worst thing, because of course you can't imagine what it's like to literally lose your best friend overnight. It was the best thing though, because it made me wake up and say, you know what? You get to live and you get to really go after the things that you want. And so now fast forward 5 years later, that's exactly what we're doing. Inside of our fitness studio, Live and Believe Nutrition and our smoothie bars, we do that. That same feeling that I had at the Rose Bowl, we now give that to people on a daily, consistent basis. When they come to our workouts, when they come inside our nutrition bars, we are now leading other people to do the same thing as we are opening multiple locations across the city. And so for me, it really has been a journey of just listening to what fuels my heart and being committed to figuring out how to make that a job for myself as well.
Okay, thank you for that. So you had talked about your childhood. Can you explain a little bit more about that and what influenced your upbringing into exercise?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up my whole life. I've always been an athlete, dancer. I was in the choir. I was in student council. I mean, literally, like anything I could figure out how to do. I feel like I've been moving and grooving since I was 5, right? And honestly, a huge part of that was because I just wanted to experience everything. I think I even knew at a young age that, at a certain point in life, you're not going to always be able to do that. So whenever I talk to, especially in high school, like, man, do it all, because you have no idea those things that you tap into. I now look back at the things that I was a part of, and so many of those little things that I learned are so much a part of what I'm doing right now in small ways. So for me, I was blessed with amazing parents that were supportive of just do it, but do it and stay committed, right? So when I say do a lot of things, it doesn't mean just dibble and dabble and like, oh yeah, that's not for me. Like, you got to do it and at least really see it through to an extent to really make sure that you get the full experience of it. And so being able to the discipline that I learned as a track, I ran track, the discipline that you learn, the teamwork, the leadership, I was captain of the track team. Like, those elements that I learned then, I still put into what I'm doing now. Cheering and dancing and all of those things, all of that are so much a part of what I do. So for me, my childhood was really about being able to experience as much as I could so that I could use it where I am now.
I like that. Okay, so I'm sure you have people looking up to you. Can you like give us any advice on like working towards our goals?
Yeah, I think honestly, there's so many. The number one thing I can say is, and I think my dad touched on it, is be willing to ask questions and seek help. If you see someone that is doing something that you love, don't be afraid to reach out. What's so great about, especially now in social media, I know there's always this thing of like competition and all these things, but honestly, you have no idea how many people are willing to help you. I wouldn't be anywhere where I am right now if I didn't have mentors and people in my life that I was willing to ask questions, that I would study. Like, if you see people that are in fields that you want to be in, look them up. Like, we're in an age of social media and online where literally most people share almost everything that they do from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed, right? Study them. Study what can you learn from them? What are you doing? And so the biggest thing I can say is, as you start to set goals for yourself, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to really look at the people that are doing what it is that you want to do, and be willing to go after it.
That's good advice. I'm going to definitely follow that because I want to own my own dance company.
So. Yes. And we should connect. We'll talk for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to thank you again for joining us today for our career day. Now I'm going to pass it to Nasa.
Okay, I wasn't unmuted for a minute. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nasa. I'm also a senior at Morgan Park High School. So my first question for both of you guys, whichever one, whoever chooses to answer it. What do you think is the biggest challenge for the high school students who will be returning, who will be graduating in the next couple of years? Because, sophomores, the students who are currently turning into sophomores, they didn't get that first year high school experience, So it's going to be kind of hard for them transitioning. They're almost going to feel like freshmen all over again. So what do you think is going to be like the biggest challenge for them coming into the whole high school atmosphere?
Yeah, I can take that. I think honestly, it's honestly just being willing to be open to. I think what we've learned in this whole season, especially in 2020 and this pandemic and everything, is things aren't always going to go the way that we plan. Things aren't always going to go in the way that we see it. So it's being willing to just be open to and being present to, man, like, I am now in this new season, in this new year, in this new time, and being willing to just experience as much as you possibly can. High school for me, and I tell people all the time, I still some of my best years of my entire life. Like high school was one of those seasons that are just so memorable. And so I think going into it is just being willing to say, you know what, this may look and be different than what I expected, but I'm going to do everything that I can to make the most of it, to make the most of this time that I have.
Yeah, I agree. And I think about it all the time. I'm like, and it's like I have like a few cousins and stuff who always asking me like, what is it gonna be like going to school? And I'm like, I honestly, you kind of have to make the most of what your situation is, because nobody expected to be in a pandemic. But that was really good advice. So my second question.
Honest, I'm sorry, and to be honest, you guys are gonna be so much more prepared. Like,
yeah,
the way that you all have to be so innovative and on top of it and figure things out in the moment. Like I tell people, this generation, years from now, the things that you guys are going to create is going to be mind blowing because none of us had to ever experience life the way that you guys have. So it's going to be a really, really exciting time what you create later on down the line from the things that you guys are going through now.
Yeah. And the pandemic also, it kind of could have been a good and a bad thing because, we never knew what life would have been like without coronavirus. And I feel like for us seniors, especially, it's giving us that chance to, like transform into independence, like, okay, now I'm seeing I'm not going to be needing my mom to take me everywhere. I'm going to have to be getting places on my own and do a lot of independent things. So that's one thing I thank the virus for, but everything else, we don't thank the virus for. But my second question is, has there ever been a time in your life where you felt like you wanted to give up? Like, I know stuff gets hard and you both are very successful people, and I know you've gone over a lot of obstacles. So has there ever been a time where, you were just like, I can't do this anymore? And how did you get through it? And what advice would you give to any high school student or any business owner or somebody trying to start a business that wants to give up?
You're muted, Pops. Go ahead.
The thing with me was really giving up on everything after I lost my son, because he was one of my best friends, and I'm like, man, how can I keep going? How can I continue to keep moving, knowing that he was taken away from us at a very young age with all the things that he had in line to do, with his life. But I thought about a few different things. I thought about my family. I thought about the fact that, I have to make sure that I let them know that we're going to make everything happen together. And we're gonna fight for each other. We're gonna pull for each other. We're gonna love each other. One of the things that my son made sure that he taught us how to say I love you. Something as simple as that, I love you. He taught us how to say that. And so getting the opportunity to really make sure that what we're doing in life is going to inspire people. There was no way I could quit. No way. There was no way I could quit. And so with his inspiration and the things that we're trying to do for other people, the sky's the limit. I'm 60 years old. I'm not done yet. There's so much out there that I still want to obtain. And so I'll keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing it, until I get it. And so, you can't let things stop you from achieving.
And to piggyback on that, I think the biggest thing is having a strong why. Like I literally put pictures, words, like I'm not gonna show you my home, but there's things, visual representations everywhere of why I do what I do. I have pictures of my family and my car and here and all of these things, because the reality is there's going to be times where some of the things that you have to do, especially in business, you don't always want to do. Like there are going to be days when, especially in entrepreneurship, I don't have somebody ask clocking in and checking in if I show up or not. You have to create that level of discipline inside of yourself. But I show up because my boss is my why. I don't have someone checking in. My why is my boss. So I think getting really clear with why are you doing the things that you're doing? Why do you want to graduate college? Why do you want to work and do well at this job? Why do you want to achieve certain things? And when you get really clear on that, then in those moments when it's very difficult to want to show up for yourself, as long as you have that in the forefront so much as possible.
Those y'all got me emotional. You know, when you started speaking, I'm a crybaby. Y'all just that really touched me. And that was really nice advice. Because you know, I often find myself there's so many things I want to do. So I said every day I change what I want to do. So it's kind of hard to, you know, I was actually just questioning last night. I'm like, what do I want to be? Like, I'm stressing out, you know, decision day is coming up, and I'm like, I don't know. But you guys really did motivate me and push me. So now I'm gonna calm down a little bit. But I have just one more question to wrap us up. What advice would you give to the Morgan Park juniors and seniors who are seated in front of you today? Like, if you could just give the best piece of advice to any, you know, young teenagers, what would you say?
Well, my thing would be, don't wait for tomorrow to do what you can do today. You know, a lot of people, it's like, okay, yeah, I got time. You may not have time. And because you may not have time, you know, stop putting things off. Go for it today and build on it. Because once you start building on it, then you'll realize, wow, I'm glad I did start doing what I wanted to do today, because I had no idea I had so much to do. Do it today. Stop coming up with excuses of why you can't succeed. Start doing it today, because if you do it, I'm telling you, if you do it today, you're going to realize that, you know, that was one of the best decisions you ever made in your life. Procrastination is terrible. Our young people love to procrastinate. Well, I'm not even going to say young people, grown folks too, love to procrastinate. Do it today. If you do it today, you're going to have a better tomorrow.
And I would say to piggyback on that, number one, because I felt you when you said you feel the stress of trying to figure out where to go and making decisions and all of that. And I remember going back to my high school, especially junior and senior year, you feel like the weight of the world of every decision that you make right there is going to change the trajectory of your whole entire life. And I am here to tell you, you get to breathe and you get to enjoy exactly where you are and use every resource. You know, like I know Morgan Park High School, between the the teachers, the staff, there's so many resources to help guide you. But at the same time, I think my biggest advice to juniors and seniors is take some of the pressure off of yourself. I think sometimes we feel like in those years, what college we go to and what we decide and what we choose, and those years are gonna set us up for how everything is to go. You couldn't have told me in a million years that even though my major was broadcast journalism in college, that this is what I would be doing now, right? But that decision that I made to go to the University of Illinois to major in broadcast journalism still led me to where I am right now. So I'm so grateful for making the decisions that I did, but being flexible to say, you know what? I'm going to make the best decision for me now, but I'm going to be open to knowing that every year is going to be ever evolving. And so my biggest advice would just be, yes, make great decisions, but also have fun. Have fun and enjoy yourself, because you'll never get those years back again.
So I'll have to say thank you. Our student hosts, you all have, no joking, you all have been amazing student hosts. Nasa, Destiny, Jalen, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for showing up the way that Mustangs always show up. I have no doubt that you all really are the epitome of excellence. To Mr. Martin, to Miss Martin, thank you all for spending just a part of your morning encouraging us, And I'm saying us because you all have definitely encouraged me today. And so, we thank you all for just taking time. And sometimes we all just need to hear words of hope, right? I was actually, it's funny, my husband and I were having a conversation last night. And the one thing that we said is you can just never tell what people are going through by looking at them on the outside. It might seem like people have it all together, but we all have something that we're struggling with, and you just never know what stories that people have. And so your story could either be the end or your story can just be part of the story that you tell on the next leg of your journey. And Nasa, I love when you said that this is going to make you cry. And I just want to give all of my Mustangs just a reminder that tears are okay. In fact, tears are God's way of cleansing our soul. So don't think that crying makes you weak. Crying is, we don't keep eating off dirty dishes, right? We wash the dishes and then we eat off the dishes again, right? You need water to clean those dishes. And sometimes you need water, you need your tears to clean your soul. And I'm really going to say this to our boys, because sometimes young men think that, in fact, we tell boys when they're young, boys don't cry. Humans cry. Okay. And so it's okay to shed some tears and to keep going. So Nasa, thank you for bringing that up, because that's just part of the emotional journey. We are going to wrap it up today. We have some amazing speakers who will be in your classroom. I am going to stop by. I need to get on my own fitness journey. I've had enough of these quarantine pounds, okay? It's not cute anymore when you have more than one stomach. If you all put that on social media, I'm suspending you from remote school. Anyway, thank you all so much. Destiny, Jalen, Nasa, I love a good gift. So I owe you all a gift. I don't know though. I'm broke. So let me see what I can come up with. I love you all. Thank you so much to all of our guests who are watching us via YouTube. Thank you all for logging in this morning. Share, because this literally is so touching. We are going to not start working on our dreams tomorrow. We're going to start working on our dreams today. Procrastination is the enemy of success. Let me tell you all that again. Procrastination is the enemy of success. And so we are beyond successful. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. We're logging off. We're jumping into those classrooms. Enjoy Virtual Career Day 2021.